Hey everyone, today we are covering one of the most powerful data structure in Python, which is dictionaries. So far, if we started with set, then tuples, list, and we have dictionary, the last one from there. By the end of this video, you'll know what dictionary is, how we use them, and key method, right? Let's go. So a dictionary uses or basically it stores data as key value pairs. So think of it like a real dictionary. You look up a word, right? The key, and get the meaning, that is the value, right? So let's take this simple example, right? I'm taking a student and I'm gonna add some name value pair here, right? Making it a name and it's a string, right? So, right. And it's always separated by a comma. So, no, don't forget that. The second one is age. So, age is, let's say, 33, whatever. And let's say grade. Let's say it is A, right? So, this is what we are doing is here, key is unique, right, for everything. And another thing to important is keys, dictionaries are immutable. So we can use string, number, tuples, like values can be anything. Now, now let's say you print it, right? Similarly, you print it. Let me clear this. Run it, right? So you're getting this particular dictionary set, right? Now, you can also, we can access the elements, right, for dictionaries. So similarly, the way we access, so we can access to them, let's say I'm accessing the name, right? And I print it. It gives me Arjun because there's only one value here, right? And we can see the other one, that is print student dot get. Get is always an easy one, right? That's the reason I always like using get. So there is also one advantage of using this get function, right? What happens is it is always having a direct access, and in many cases, right, in real time, it won't crash if the key doesn't exist. So that's the beauty for that, right? So when I write a age get method using age, I get the age of 33. So the next is we can also add, update, and delete items in a dictionary, right? So let's say I'm going to add, let's say what I do is print, or let's say I'm going to add now, right? So let's say adding for easy access. So let's say student. Then what I'm doing is I'm adding, so I'm adding a key city which does not exist, right? So I'm adding a new altogether and value pair, right? This is addition. So rent student. Now if you see, this is the new key value pair added, right? What I'm going to do is now I'm going to update age equal to 22. So this is what I'm doing here is update. Right. So if you see, earlier it was 33, now it is changed to 22. Right. Then we can delete also, right? So the easiest way is we use delete as del student, And let's say we delete the grade. So we are always deleting it with the key pair here, right? That is the T. Delete. Remove this. Run it. So grade is gone, right? We can also use the pop function, right? So let's say student dot pop, and I do it for city, right? So what I'm doing is adding a comment here. Comment is always, a good way for us to make our code understand, like anyone can read it. So it deletes but returns the value also, right? So run it and boom. There are also a couple of methods like what we have seen, right? For every data structure. Similarly, for dictionaries as well, we have, data structure. So what I'm going to do, let me comment this out. We'll create a new easy one. So let's say D is equal to, right? This is A. Then what I'm doing is 1, B, and I'm doing this for 2, C, and doing this for 3, right? These are dictionary. So what will happen is, let's say I do D dot keys, and this is just a function, right? So what this key will do is, so it will return all the key, only the key. When I say key in dictionaries, the left hand side is always a key, right? And right hand side is the value pair, right? The value. So left is key, right is pair, right? So when we print this, it will only return the keys for the above dictionary, A, B, C, when we run it. So if you see A, B, and C is written. Similarly, we can also have D dot values. So it will only return 1, 2, and 3 in this case. If you see, right? Similarly, for items, we can also do D dot. So it is an method, right? So function. We are using it. So now let us hash it off. This line, and run it off. So if you see 1, A1, B2, and C3, right? All the items. Similarly, you can use same things in a loop as well, right? You can do a pop, you can do a pop item, you can do clear, you can do copy, right? You can do anything, right? So whatever you see here, all this you have to explore. It is important at least once you get a hang of it. If you recall, we also discussed something about uh, comprehensions, right, earlier. So similarly, we are going to talk about comprehensions in dictionaries as well. So we discussed about this comprehension concept in the list. So if you remember that, right? So let's say we want to do square, right? Let's say I take a square. Now what I'm doing is, let's say x is equal to x into 2. This is table for 2, right? X in range 1, 6. Right? And let's say before I come, let me clear this. So what it is doing, it is returning the square for, right? For it will run from 1 to 5, right? Because 6 is n minus 1 there, right? So I think this is all you need to know to master dictionaries. As I always say, right? Unless you practice, right? If you're watching, reading, hundreds of tutorials, hundreds of videos, nothing is going to be of any use until you make your hands dirty. So if this has helped, like, subscribe, most importantly, ask questions, and I will see you in the next one, right? Have a good one.